Alright, so this is going to be a quick video showing a few of the updates that we've made to the app to work with sag charts and setting up units. So I'll run you through a few of the things that we've done. First, this is the homepage of our app. If you'll just double check and verify in the bottom right corner, you'll see that version 2.5.3. If you'll make sure, especially if you've already downloaded the app, that does say 2.5.3 or higher. That'll make sure that any of the things that I'm showing you today will work on your device. So first step is going to be, especially if y'all are interested in using sag charts, it's going to be getting those sag chart files on your device. So typically what we'll do is we'll email those to yourself or to anybody that might want to use them. And so if you'll notice, it's a CSV file right here. It's important that that's a CSV, but I've got instructions that I'll send y'all on being able to set those up yourself if you'd like. So I'll select that CSV file, and this top right corner, I'm going to click the share button, then click share file via, and then I'm going to click right here, save to files. So this is going to pop up the files on my iPad. I'm going to select where I'd like to save that. You can pick a folder, and I'm going to hit save. And so now that's saved to the device. So we can go back to our app. And so we're going to be using a WaveTimer today. So I'm going to select WaveTimer. It's going to ask if it's okay to use your location. This is for the PDF export. So now we're ready to use the device. So I'll turn the device on. You'll want to set it up on the line. You roughly a few feet from the insulator, or a meter or two from the insulator. And then you can connect to it. So I'm going to select this Bluetooth icon in the lower left corner. It's going to ask if we can use Bluetooth, hit OK. So now we see the device pop up. I'm going to select connect. And so you're going to see that the device is connected. You're also going to see that temperature right there in Fahrenheit. So that is the temperature from the temperature sensor of the device. Now we've set it up so that if you want to use different units, we're going to select this question mark in the lower left corner. And this is going to pull up the option for us to select different units. So we'll switch over to SI. And then you'll see right above the units is a few different distances right there in meters. So that is something that you can tweak depending on how much sag you expect the line to have. So the way the device works is you'll send a wave down and then it'll record looking for the return wave. And the more sag that you have, the longer it'll take for that return wave to come back. So I think on some of the charts that look like y'all are using some bigger conductor, you may want to be on that 30 meters. And that means the device will record and look for sag values up to 30 meters. I'm going to leave it at 8 just for the sake of the video, but that's something you may need to tweak depending on how much sag you're working with. So I'm going to hit back. You'll see that our temperature is now in Celsius. So we're ready to use the device. So I will click start. The device is ready to be used, and it's going to be looking for you to set off that first wave. So you can grab the conductor or hook it with a shotgun stick, and if you pop it, it'll start that wave, and then I'm going to simulate a return wave with my hand. There it came back. And so then we're going to see a graph here of that return wave. We'll see how I did. All right. So this is roughly something like what you might see out in the field. And so right here we can see on the right hand side is that return wave, and if you look, that red dot is at the bottom of the first trough of that return wave. So that's a good looking graph. Once you've verified that, you can hit calculate, and that will give you the actual sag that you just measured in that span. So in this theoretical experiment, we got 4.45 meters. You can see the temperature 19 degrees Celsius, and that first is the first return wave time. If you tap that, you can get the third or fifth. Sometimes that's helpful depending on how your sag charts are set up if you wanted to verify it in other ways. So next we'll get into using the sag chart. So I'm going to select in this lower left hand corner that LB icon. We have the sag or target sag, so I'll select that. So this is going to pop up that page. Because this is the first time using it, we're going to have to select that import sag chart at the bottom to load in that file that we saved to our device. But moving forward, it should auto-populate. You won't have to save, or you won't have to import sag charts again, unless you were switching jobs or need to bring different ones in. So I'm going to click import sag chart, and we're going to navigate to where we saved that file. I'll select that file, and now you'll see all of your information populate on this page. So in this case, we only have initial condition. It automatically pulled the ruling span, you can there's a spot to enter the span length, which we'll need to do here in a second. You'll have a list of the conductors or sections that were loaded in the sag charts, and then you'll see the temperature, which is pulled from the device. In this case, it was 19 degrees. So if you had a wire thermometer or you wanted to use a different temperature, you could download it, or I'm sorry, you could enter it in manually if you wanted to put 15 in, but you can also reset and that'll grab that temperature from the temperature sensor again. So here in this case, we'll pick this conductor. In order to get sag off of your sag charts, you have to enter a span length so it knows where to find it on the file. So here I went ahead and put the span length loaded into the name of the conductor. So we know that this section, the span length is going to be 149 meters. So now I can hit calculate. So based on these sag charts, it tells me that 6.2 3 or 4.96 meters of sag, that's what you need to be at based on your sag charts. So I can come back here and you'll see that 4.96 pop up on the screen, so you know that's what you need to get at. Now if I go ahead and hit start again, I can send another wave. That 4.96 will stay on the screen. Let's see if I can get a little closer. And then again, just simulating here with my hand. So then it'll populate, show you the graph. It grabbed that return wave. I'll hit calculate. Oop, I was a little bit over it. But that gives you a rough idea of how that works with the sag charts. Again, if I go back to the sag charts, all that stuff is still there. You won't have to download that again. If you'd like to save all this information to a PDF, you click the PDF icon. You can enter your name, your company, any job notes. You could add a picture down there, and it'll save all of your information in terms of your sag value, what sag charts you use. So that can be helpful if you're trying to save that. You can email it, text it, save it to your iPad. The other thing I'll touch on is the tension estimator. So if you've measured sag and you want to estimate the tension in the line, you can use that. So here you can see a bunch of conductors loaded in right here. I went ahead and loaded y'all's conductors. If you click this drop down, it's under the AUS section. So I can select that AUS section and you'll see all the conductors that y'all use right here in the list. So you pick what conductor you're on. And the reason we call this a tension estimate is because it is calculated based off your span length. So the more accurate span length you have, the more accurate of an estimate of tension you'll get. So here I'll put 130 meters in here, and that'll give you your estimate of tension there. If you change conductors, obviously that'll change, but that's a quick way to get a rough idea of maybe how much tension you've got in a span. So that's a quick overview of a few of the updates that we made to the tool. Feel free to reach out if you got any questions or have any issues using this. But like I said, this should be pretty straightforward for y'all, but don't hesitate to reach out. Appreciate it.